Hey everybody, welcome to Bones Collector. Today is October 2nd. Lori and I have been thinking about Halloween. We've been thinking about playing Halloween games. So we wanted to get our top 10 Halloween games video made and published and out to you as soon as possible here on YouTube land. And as you can see, I have a new game from WizKids called Onslaught. Now I just wanted to have this sitting on the table while I did this video, but I'm glad that I was able to pick this game up. I can't wait to play it, and I wanted to have it sitting on the table so you could just suck in the atmosphere of this game for Halloween. So let's get moving on our top 10 games that Lori and I like to play for Halloween. But the first three aren't on my top 10 list. I'm just going to talk about them real briefly. Because I'm old and I can cheat, and I'm going to do honorable mentions. This is a Kramer and Kiesling little box game called Ghosts of the Moor. We've had this since it came out. As soon as I found out it was Kramer and Kiesling, I wanted to get it. 2018 it says on the box. And you're simply adventurers going through the mire and the muck and the swamp and throwing down planks to step across things and dealing with apparitions and having just a good old ghostly time in the woods, in the swamp. And we like playing this game, and I actually think this plays like, this plays 2 to 5 in a half an hour. And it's a short little game, but we've loved it ever since we've picked it up, and that's Ghosts of the Moor. I'm going to be as brief as I possibly can today, you guys. This is a game we haven't played, but we're interested in. It's an abstract strategy game called Boop. Now, Boop came out in another format. It was, what was it? Was it Kittens too?
It's Kittens. It's the same game. Okay. Just not Halloween.
Okay, well yeah. These cats are Halloween cats. It's an abstract strategy game where you're going to be placing kittens on this quilt, and once you place one of them on the quilt, it's going to bump the other cats that are around it, certain spaces away. I haven't played the game, but it looked interesting to me, and we want to play it as soon as possible. And it looks fun, and it's an abstract strategy game called Boop for Halloween. So that's pretty cool looking. Another game I want to talk about that I think is creepy is Rattlebones. Rattlebones was made in the USA, and that's pretty rare in itself. But the reason why I love this game so much, it's a dice crafting game. If you've played Dice Realms or Dice Forge, similar idea. Now, this one has the dice out of Dice Realms. They have those heavy plastic dice that are very nice. Dice Forge had those dice that were very light in your hand. I didn't really care for those. And I like this game so much. It reminds me of the artwork of Five Nights at Freddy that one of my grandsons used to be in 2 years ago, and it has that creepy feel to it. It's a circus, Mr. Rattlebones Circus, and you're these circus monkeys, and you're moving around the board doing different functions, rolling dice, adding different faces to your dice, so it's a dice crafting game, and it has a scoring system where Mr. Rattlebones, every time you roll him on one of your dice, his icon, you're going to move Mr. Rattlebones closer to the players who are on the scoring track, and first player that meets up with Mr. Rattlebones wins the game. Takes about 20 to 30 minutes max when you play this game, but it's fast and fun. I'm always telling people about this game. It's from Rio Grande Games, and I really love the artwork. It has that creepy circus feel to it, so it's a great Halloween game. Yeah, that's a picture of the board on the back. Just an awesome game. We got this when it first came out, and I tell everybody about it. I love it. It's in my top 100 games of all time. Rattlebones. Okay, now we're going to get to our real list, and number 10 is going to be a game from CMON, and it's called ScoobyDoo the board game. Every time I have the opportunity, I plug CMON games for this game. I have nothing to do with CMON games, and quite frankly, I dislike a whole lot of their titles because they give you a bunch of plastic in the box that's unpainted in black and white and does nothing to enhance gameplay. But this one here is a Kickstarter version of ScoobyDoo the board game. I don't want to mislead anyone. There is another version of this retail that doesn't have painted miniatures. This one does, and they're absolutely beautiful. There's Scooby and Shaggy, Fred, Velma, and all of them anyway. All those characters are painted in this box, and it's a cooperative adventure board game. Scooby-Doo's always been about the mystery, and it's just a wonderful Halloween game. My grandkids, they love playing this game, and we love playing it with them, and that's Scooby-Doo the board game. Yeah. And number 9. Number 9. There, I should have some kind of echoing voice. Is a classic, and this is on everybody's list that loves to play Halloween board games. Mysterium, and there's been some versions of it, Mysterium Park, and maybe one other one.
There's a kid's version.
Kids' version of it, yeah. But this is absolutely a phenomenal game. We love playing it with kids. I mean, you can play with adults, but for whatever reason,
our grandkids love that game.
Yeah, our grandkids love it. And one person plays the ghost, and the ghost is the person that was murdered and wants to tell the other players and give them clues as to who the murderer was. So the ghost is telling on the murderer, and without speaking. So you have to give them cards to give them clues, much like Dixit. Those Dixit cards, very similar, and they have to try to guess who the murderer is. Wonderful game pieces in this game. The ghost has a stand-up board where he's going to have all the clues that he's trying to give people, and he has all the perfect information, and he's trying to make them guess or figure out who the murderer was. So that's Mysterium. Who's the designer of this game? Oleksandr Nevsky and Oleg Sidorenko. I mean,
it was Polish originally.
Yeah, it was
released in Polish.
Was it Polish?
Originally, I believe.
Yeah, and
so.
I can't pronounce the name of it when it came out, but Mysterium is the English title. And I love the box too.
You have to play spooky music while you're playing it.
Now, I want to continue on with number 8, but I can't because Biscuits is asleep on the rest of the games. There she is.
I don't think
she's
hang on. Yep, they can see her.
Yeah, so this is what our cats do. They just get in the way.
All right, sweetie. You gotta scoot over to this pile of games.
There we go.
There you go.
There you go. So, hey, number 8 is Catacombs. I love this game so much. And in this game, adventurers are going into the catacombs, the dungeon, the catacombs. And in the catacombs is inhabited by a skeleton dragon. You can see him right there. A skeleton dragon inside the catacombs. And this is a dungeon crawler and a deck builder, and I just love this game. We played the old Clank game, and it's fine. It's wonderful if you've got that game. Hey, that's a good game, no doubt about it. But we like this one for our taste a little better because laying down those tiles as you go takes this game to another level, and it is now in my top 100. And I absolutely adore this game, Clank Catacombs. And you battle monsters and you free prisoners.
And ghosts.
And there's ghosts on some of the tiles that you're going to lay out. And when you lay out one of those ghost tiles, ghost is going to go into the Clank area to be put into the bag. And when that ghost is drawn out of the bag, all players get damage. And it doesn't come out of the bag, it goes right back in. So any ghosts that you put in that bag are going to stay in there for the entire game. So it's a pain in the butt. But yeah, absolutely fabulous game by Paul Dennen, who did Dune Imperium. And man, if someone asked me which game I like better, Dune Imperium or Catacombs, I don't know. I don't know which one I would choose. I love them both. They're both outstanding, and I'm really impressed with Paul Dennen. But I love Catacombs. Great Halloween game. Number 7, we have Pandemic Cthulhu, and that was designed by Chuck D. Yeager, and this is, of course, on Matt Laycock's Pandemic games, so it's very similar, but it's got the spooky Cthulhu stuff in it, and it has unpainted little avatars, but I'm okay with that as long as it's just your moving avatar, your character, that's all right. And then there's cultists and 3 Shoggoth figures, and they're in like this green glowing stuff, and the board is gorgeous and dark, and you have cards of old ones that you're going to have to defeat. There's like 6 ways to lose this game, 1 way to win.
It's like Pandemic.
Yeah, just like Pandemic, but it's fun, it's thematic, and is it my second? It is my second favorite version of Pandemic. Behind the base game, the original, I love that one, and I love this one. And there are other ones that I like, but this one, again, it has that Halloween theme.
Because of the theme.
Yeah, and that's why we like it just a little more than the other ones. But nice card art in this game. So they did a nice job with this game, making it very thematic, and I like this game, Pandemic Cthulhu. That is number 7. Number 6 is another dungeon kind of a dungeon crawler called Dead Men Tell No Tales. And this is a cooperative game. You know, there's something about cooperative games when you're thinking about Halloween games, because it's fun to get scared with your friends.
ScoobyDoo's cooperative.
Oh yeah.
Cthulhu's cooperative. Dead Men Tell No Tales is cooperative.
Yeah, there's just something about cooperative games when you're playing Halloween, because it's like being in a haunted house together with your friends and when you're a teenager, and you just have this thrill. You almost make yourself scared. So that's so much fun. But Dead Men Tell No Tales is an outstanding, it feels like a dungeon crawler because you're laying out tiles just like you are in Clan Catacombs, except it's a burning pirate ship and you're battling with the skeleton crew and deckhands that have these little skeleton heads that are in this box. And this is an outstanding publishing job by Renegade Studios. They did an outstanding job. There's a lot in this box and it's a great value and it's so much fun. It uses a dice mechanic to spread fire and stuff on the ship, and player boards, you have action point system that you're going to use, and if you don't use all your action points you can give them to another player, and that's beneficial and strategic to do so in certain instances. But I love this game, Dead Men Tell No Tales. It's one of my favorite cooperative games and it's definitely one of my favorite Halloween games. Kane Klenko is the designer. Shout out to Kane Klenko. All right, that was number 6. Number 5 is a game that doesn't get, I don't see it in anybody's list but mine, and that's Ancient Terrible Things. Oh my gosh, this game is so creepy. I absolutely love this game. It's a dice chucker. This is a pressure luck game, a pulp horror, and I like pulp horror. So it's not anything gross on the cards or anything like that or on the board. And you're just going to go to different location and finish encounters by rolling dice. Each encounter card has a dice value, like a full house or something like that. You're going to have to roll 3 of a kind or whatnot to gain tokens that give you extra power so you can get swag cards and so forth. But there's a beautiful dice there in this game. I knew I wanted this game, and I just happened one day to be on Amazon and saw this for $17. I grabbed it and ordered it immediately. Lori put it on Facebook, and another guy on Facebook said, thanks a lot. I ordered it too. And now you can't get this game. They're doing a reprint, I understand, where it's going to have a ship and stuff. But I love this edition. I'm never going to give it up. That's Ancient Terrible Things. I should mention the designer, Simon McGregor and Rob Van Zyl. So very awesome. Ay! No. I don't know why cats want to eat. No. Zip it. No. Zip it. This is gravy. It's hard to tell them apart. We got boxes for them. There we go. Gravy, get your box. There you go. All right, that was Ancient Terrible Things. Number 4 is from Prospero Hall, called Horrified. We've had this game since it first came out. Of course, we were intrigued by it because it's the monsters from our childhood. Frankenstein, Dracula, the Mummy, Wolfman, the creature from the Black Lagoon, the Invisible Man. And each creature has a different set of requirements that you have to accomplish in order to defeat that monster. And you can adjust this game. It has scalability for difficulty, and that's always awesome. You can set the difficulty to the point where you just can't win this game, and I like that. I like to be able to do that if you want to accept that challenge. But Horrified is an absolute hoot for Halloween, and again, I love the monsters in this game.
Co-op?
It's a cooperative game. I didn't mention that. Thank you, dear. It is a cooperative game. All right, number 3. Number 3 is Witchstone by Reiner Knizia and Martino Chiara. And every 100 years, the coven of these witches get together and they want to recharge the crystal. The game is absolutely outstanding. And you have, as a player, each of you are going to have a cauldron that you're going to be brewing. And it uses the mechanic from Ingenious. If you are familiar with Reiner Knizia's Ingenious board game, which is fantastic in itself, you're going to use that mechanic in your witch's pot to lay tiles, and you're matching up iconography to gain certain benefits. The board in this game is absolutely beautiful, and I love this game. Why people aren't talking more about this game is beyond me. It's for 2 to 4 players, 60 to 90 minutes. We can play it in an hour, and I absolutely adore this game. I mean, I played it the first time. I told Lori, man, that's fantastic. It's in my top 100. I love Witchstone by Reiner Knizia. And number 2 is a game from Plaid Hat Games called Abomination, the Heir of Frankenstein. We just played this first time the other day, and this game is absolutely fantastic if you use the Igor variant. It's off Board Game Geek, am I correct?
It's from the designer.
It's from the designer.
Publisher.
Yeah. It shortens the game by 4 rounds, I think. It takes 4 rounds.
4 rounds, yes.
4
Takes
rounds
4
out of
rounds
the game.
out.
And make some other minor rule changes
Yeah.
that shorten the game, because this game needed shortening. It was even with the Igor variant. But it was our first play. It took 2 hours. So I think we'll probably get this down to 90 minutes in that particular form. but it's a worker placement game, and the theme is absolutely phenomenal. It takes this game to a new level. I absolutely love this game. You're going to different locations to acquire different cadavers in different states of decomposition because you have on your player board different columns where you're going to put organ material and muscle material and bones and stuff and blood, and it decomposes if you don't use it because of age. So if you don't use it in that round, it's going to decompose unless you have a block of ice. If you have a block of ice, you don't have to decompose. But the game is absolutely amazing. It's going to be on our catalog of Halloween games to play every year because the theme is implemented so well, and I want to give a big shout out to Dan Blanchett. He's the designer, and what a phenomenal idea he had for a beautiful little worker placement game. And it's got some stuff going on in it, to be fair.
It's a heavier, well,
it's a medium
heavy game.
Yeah, it's a medium game, I think. And if you play worker placement games, it's very straightforward. You place a worker and you're going to do the action that's at that particular space, that particular cadaver. I mean, there's executions to get real fresh meat, and if you're really desperate and you want to have some fresh meat to build your monster part, you can go to a dark alley and murder somebody. Yeah, on your particular player board, you're going to be building the monster on your table. So it's incredible. I mean, when I first saw this game, I thought, I don't think I'm going to like that. And I watched it played more than once, and I told Lori, we can play that game, and I think we're going to like it. And we picked up a copy from Game Nerds, I think.
Yeah.
It was Game Nerds. Thank goodness for Game Nerds. But yeah, Abomination, The Heir of Frankenstein from Plaid Hat Games. That's my number 2. The only thing that's keeping it from being number 1, I'll tell you in a second, because number 1 has this.
And it's cooperative.
Yeah.
Number 1 is cooperative.
The Abomination Heir of Frankenstein was competitive.
Yes.
I hope I made that clear. This is a cooperative game called London Dread. This came out in 2016. I bought it when it first came out. It's 2 to 4 players, 60 to 90 minutes, and is a cooperative game. It's kind of like, what's that space game, Galaxy Trucker? The first half of this game is real time. The second half is not real time. So in the first half, everybody's got a clock. The first thing you do is turn over cards on the game board, and you have to go resolve all of those cards. And in order to get your character there, you have to program your clock to have your character at a certain hour, at a certain time of day, in a certain district. And so it is hectic and chaotic to do that clock in the first part of the game, and it's absolute chaotic gaming fun. I absolutely love London Dread. And then the second part of the game, you're going to be going through the cards and trying to defeat the cards in order to gain confidence cards for the final showdown at the end of the game. And the thing I like about this game that is so immersive, and I wish Abomination Heir of Frankenstein had it, was they have a voice actor, and Lori's going to play a little piece of it here.
Story 1. The Letter. Chapter 1. Unconventional Allies. It's early morning, but you've been awake for hours. This is not the time to sleep. Your cause is too important. From the open window, you take in the vast, busy city of London.
Man.
Pedestrians and hansom
This is
cabs
horse-
bustle through the cobbled streets, and the air smells of manure and freshly baked bread.
That is so awesome, you guys. It's absolutely fabulous.
And that starts the timer as soon as that gong rings.
This is Victorian London, and I'm telling you, I'm a sucker for that. This game is absolutely outstanding, and I want to be very open and transparent with you. I sold this game because in the final conflict, I rolled max dice. I forget how many it was.
16.
I got 0 successes and lost the game after we had set up ourselves so wonderfully, had all the dice you could possibly have, rolled them. You know what? I shouldn't have let that bother me. It's just part of gaming. I enjoy this game so much, and the more I thought about it, I said, I got to get that game back, which I just did recently because it is so much fun. I missed it when it was gone, and I enjoy this game, and I want to tell you about it. Again, that voice actor adds to the immersive experience of the game. But the thing is, I don't like games that need apps to operate. You don't have to have that app. all of the words that he's saying in his narrative is printed in the rule book. So you don't have to have that app. He's just reading out of the rule book. And that's fascinating to me. And in the rule book of Abomination, you're making choices for the event cards that come up at the beginning of every round, and you may have to make a choice between A1 or B1, something like that. And then you go in the rule book, and it has, very similar to Above and Below, it has a paragraph that you're going to read and what happens because of the choice you made. But it would be awesome to have a voice actor do those, so you could just punch something on your phone. And I love that because you don't have to have the app. It's just something that adds to the game. But man, London Dread is spectacular. That's my #1 Halloween game. And this box is heavy, man. I'm telling you,
It's full.
it's packed full of goodness. And the player boards in here, the clocks that you're going to use to program your investigator to go to certain locations in London there. And they're really thick, and they haven't warped over the years.
Well, they're double layered, yeah.
Yeah, they're super nice, man, I tell you. But I mean, I've had so many double layer player boards now that are warping, and these are just straight as an arrow. And this game is absolutely fantastic. I bought this simply because I picked up the box and looked at that cover. It says a cooperative game of Victorian horror, and I had to have it. And I bought it and brought it home, and Lori and I played it and loved it until that final conflict made me mad. But I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that. I got mad and sold the game, but I got it back. London Dread is back. My #1 for Halloween. Hey, have a nice Halloween. Have a happy gaming day. We love every one of you. And please take a second, like the video. I want to mention again, Dungeons & Dragons Onslaught from WizKids. Thank you, WizKids, for offering us a miniatures game that's fully painted. I don't have to do it, and I appreciate that very much. I have not played this game, but I bought it for a reason, and the reason was it comes with all these beautiful painted miniatures. They're pre-painted. I always stayed away from miniatures games, skirmish games, and that kind of thing, because they weren't in full color. I don't like those gray plastic pieces that they give you and call that a game. I just don't care for that. So thankfully, WizKids has published a couple of titles. This one is one of them, Onslaught, and another one is Dungeons & Dragons Trials of Tempest, that you can buy the premium edition with full painted minis. And they've done this for years with Mage Knight and Star Trek Frontiers and Star Trek Expeditions, so they're good at doing what they do. So please, please like and subscribe. We love every one of you. See you the next time on The Bones Collector. Bye-bye.